Hi everyone, I am the production planner of this company which produces medical devices. The aim of our ISO product is to shift the point of care from hospitals and clinics to patients' home. ISO allows the patient to have a user-specific device adapted to his or her medicine that is autonomous, easy to use, and connected to the clinic system for surveillance. This is the company's mantra, customers first. However, the more the product fits the customer needs, the more complexity it brings to organize the shop floor activities. The different versions impose quality controls over the production, setup times, but also different raw material consumptions. This is understandable if we quickly look at the production process. The final product is composed of three main components: the injector, the cartridge, and the batch. The assembly steps is done on separated workshop using subcontracted parts, excepted for the injector, where the shell is 3D printed in the factory. Once the injector is assembled, a specific quality control is needed and will be performed in the first lab of the company. We have the same requirements for the cartridge and the batch, but the QC step can be performed in the same lab. Once the QC steps are validated, we can start the final assembly of the product. As a production planner, I will show you in the following demonstration how I'm using Delmia Hortemps to manage the short-term planning of production. Along this demonstration, my actions would be driven by two major KPIs. As we are dealing with life-changer product, a delay in production is not a possibility. Therefore, I will have to build a planning that respects 100% of the due dates. The second main driver is the efficiency of the work schedule by organizing production campaigns and optimize the resource utilization. Now that you understand a bit more my constraints and objectives, let's deep dive into the software. Welcome in my working environment. The first screen I'm using on a daily basis is the hierarchical Gantt chart. The screen allows me to display all the work orders that are planned in a weekly bucket. I'm using it for a global analysis of the situation. Each line represents one work order, and the gray rectangle associated represents the duration of the production process from the first operation schedule to the last one. I also have information regarding the start date and the customer due date at a glance. Using this screen, I can therefore easily understand the status of my production. This view helps me to understand the global situation. However, if any problems are detected, I will have to deep dive into it, and this is why I'm using the hierarchical Gantt chart. A simple click allows me to display a finer granularity by displaying here the operations of this specific work order. Those operations are linked from one another using synchronization links that allows dynamic update of the plan. Using them, I'm always ensured that my planning is feasible and realistic. As a production planner, this view is therefore very convenient and important for my first analysis of the planning state. The second screen I want to present you is the resource Gantt chart. This pre-configured desktop is probably the one I'm using the most. Indeed, it allows me to see the scheduled activities on each resource of the shop floor. On the left margin, I choose to display information regarding the resources, and the main screen shows us the planned operations over the time. On the top right of the screen, I choose to display key performance indicators that helps me to evaluate the current planning as well as the consequences of my decisions at a glance. Let me just quickly present you the central part of the screen that give me access to a lot of information. At the operation level, the most relevant information can be selected and displayed directly in the squares, or even better, in a pop-up window. We can also highlight the links between the operations that ensure feasibility of my plan. If we get a call from a customer regarding delivery dates, it is a very ergonomic way to find out in Hortemps when the final product will be ready for shipping. The shaded areas are representing the close period of my resources, and operations colors allows me to display other types of information such as the work order, the delays, or the tools used. Here, the red color means that for both of those operations, the same tool is needed. We can notice small rectangles between two different colors. These represent the setup times to install the tool needed for the next operation. As a production planner, I have to mitigate those invaluable tasks performed by the operators. As you can see, it is very easy to set up a planning configuration that is ergonomic, good looking, but above all, easy to use and understand. The first information I need to be aware of is the current status of my planning. This black and yellow bar is the result of the operation start on the shop floor. Everything looks as expected, and to ensure that, I can easily compare the current planning with the last version saved. All the operations are green, meaning that we are not late compared to the planning build yesterday. Well, it seems that everything looks fine. However, while I was presenting you the screen, I noticed a marker on a specific operation of quality control. As you can see here, the operators choose to attribute a specific marker with this red rectangle to alert the different teams about a problem. This marker is used to inform all the teams that the current work in progress did not pass the quality controls. To get more information, I can easily use my pointer to display the detailed information about it. This allows us to communicate on the decisions and actions required to deal with this unplanned event. Here is the current situation. Injector didn't pass the quality control step. This slot is non-conform to our standards and therefore we will need to reproduce those semi-finished elements. Injector assemblies are needed. Directly from the planning, I will insert extra operations in the work order. The operation is created. Now I need to find a capable resource for this operation. Hortense helps me in this task by highlighting the capable resource of this type of operation. Once the injector assembly operation is in the schedule, I will quickly insert another quality control step. As you can see, it is very simple to deal with such a problem. In less than few minutes, I was able to adapt the work plan. Synchronization links has been automatically added between the operations. I can also have an impact by adding some specific links between operations or even removing links that are not convenient anymore. In our urgent situation, we don't have to wait to reproduce injectors, so I remove this link. In few clicks, I've been able to adapt the work plan to deal with this quality issue. At the same time, my KPIs were dynamically updated and as you can see, our service rate dropped. By displaying the advanced delay color, I understand that the work order has been impacted by those changes. Knowing that, I know that I have two choices. First is manual modification of the plan, and second is the automatic scheduling engine. Let's use the second option. Well, my planning is now reflecting my needs and respect my constraints. Later during the day, I received an alert from the maintenance team. A preventive maintenance needs to be scheduled on the cartridge assembly line 2. A machine needs to be maintained and the real commissioning needs to be scheduled after the maintenance. Here is the information I got. The maintenance will last 1 working day and the real commissioning reduced the efficiency of the line by 50% for an extra working day. I will now move to another screen with a broader horizon. As you can see here, on the top of the screen is displayed the resource gain chart, and on the second part of the screen the capacity calendar of the machines. What is interesting using this screen is that I can easily change the availability of my resource directly in the schedule by applying pre-configured calendars. As a production planner, this is very convenient for simulation purpose, as I will be able to test different scenarios to apply the best one. Let's run a first simulation by applying the maintenance on Tuesday, for example. First, I will change the availability of the line for the full day. My orders are immediately impacted, but I still have to schedule the real commissioning. This one is applicable in a similar menu, where I can set the efficiency of the line at 50% on the next day. Well, my constraints are set up. I will run a partial scheduling to let Artems find a better schedule. As you can see, it is very simple to build a scenario, and I will now save this one for comparison. I already tried different combinations over the week. I am now able to compare the simulations using the KPIs proposed by the software. I have now all the elements to take the right decisions. So I choose to apply the maintenance on Monday. As you can see, Dynamo Items is also a decision tool that allows the planner to anticipate the right decision to take rather than dealing with day-to-day constraints. As I shown you, Artems allows me to take into account unplanned events off the shop floor, such as equipment unavailability or quality control issues. As a production planner, this is already a very efficient way to provide a production schedule as realistic as possible. However, we are currently facing a worldwide pandemic that also affects our company at many stages. One of the most complex variables to manage on a day-to-day basis is the operator availability that can change very quickly and affect the production. In order to provide a feasible planning, I need to work in close collaboration with HR services to use those information as a planning constraint. Artems allows me to track the labor load per day or shift, at first to make sure that the load remains stable for the operator. In our current situation, the load is always below the capacity of the operators, meaning that my planning is feasible and realistic. Let's see how Artems can help me doing some what-if scenarios. One of the most complex scenarios to manage is the unexpected availability of one operator. Let's say that HR send me this alert. Richard, working on the injector assembly department, is sick and will not work for the next 2 days. Before thinking about any kind of solution, the first thing I want to understand is the impact on the planning. Therefore, I will open the skill capacity fluctuation diagram to take this absence into account. Planning will be impacted for the next 2 days on Richard's shift. I immediately see the consequences. Artems updated the planning so that only one resource of the injector assembly department is running during the afternoon shift. Service rate KPIs has been dynamically updated, and I understand the consequence. 16 work orders are now late, and I will need to change the operator's affectation to mitigate the impact. I can see at a glance that the load on the packaging line allows me to use one of my operators on the injector assembly department on Tuesday. The service rate increased, and I can do the same analysis regarding the cartridge assembly line 1 for today. By changing the capacity on multiple resources, I am able to mitigate the impact of this absence. We have very easily built a scenario that looks optimized. Now we can keep it as it is or save it as a simulation for further discussions with the team's managers. One of the last elements I keep an eye on while building the production schedule is the raw material consumption. Medical devices are more and more complex products with multiple different elements in it. Mechanical parts, electronics, sensors, medicines. As an example, ISO is made of more than 50 different pieces, and some of them are critical, such as the microchips subcontracted in China. Artems allows me to set this consumption as a strict constraint or not. First option allows me to always ensure feasibility of the plan, and second one allows me to be alerted in advance if the plan build is not matching the current level of stock. As a production planner, I prefer using the second option. The second part of the screen displays the different raw materials and subcontracted parts used over the production. To enhance the visibility of the consumption, I can display those values in a graph on the first part of the screen. Here, I choose to display the available inventory of a critical part. I see at a glance that the consumption of this part will be an issue in the near future. However, I've already alerted the purchasing division of the company that scheduled a replenishment on Friday morning. And so, here's the plan on hand stock for this part. This short analysis re-ensured the reliability of my planning. We are approaching the end of my production planner routine, and it is now time to communicate the planning to the shop floor for execution. To do so, I'm using a Gantt chart that allows me to display the sequence of operation on a specific resource. I could use a pre-configured desktop to do that, but as you can see, it is also very simple to move from one type of screen and information to another one. The operations scheduled on this resource are displayed in a Gantt chart on the top of the screen, as well as in a table on the second part of it. Columns and information displayed are configurable, and the table can be exported in many different formats. This is very convenient for us, as we can display the Gantt chart directly on the shop floor and send the detailed list of operations to the team manager. That is all for today. Together, we saw how Hortemps helps me to manage my short-term planning in different situations. Unplanned events such as operators unavailability, quality controls issue, but also more advanced simulations capabilities for preventive maintenance management and raw material stock level surveillance.